It is 7:01. We will call to order the regular meeting of the Clarkston Board of Education. If you could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Mrs. McLean, can you please call the roll?
Mrs. Egan.
Here.
Mr. Clark.
Here.
Mr. Heyer.
Here.
Mrs. Love.
Here.
Mr. Need.
Here.
Mrs. McGinnis. Here. Representative Potts.
Here.
Representative McNaughton.
Here.
And Mrs. Crane.
Here. Thank you, Mrs. McLean. Item 1.3 is reading of the public statement. The following statement is read by the board president. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community hearing. There is time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in agenda items 3 and 9. Item 2 is approval of the consent agenda. May I have a motion, please?
I move that the Board of Education accepts the consent agenda as presented.
Support.
Motion made and supported. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 3 is the citizens' request to address the board. You are given 2 opportunities to address the board. Under item 3.1, you can request to address the board about any topic that is on tonight's agenda, which is behind me, or under item 9, you are welcome to address the board on any topic. When making comments, please state your name and address. Direct your comments to the board president. Each person may speak for up to 2 minutes. Per established procedures, the board will not respond to questions or interact with the speaker during public comment. Ms. Nag, would you mind checking the sign-in sheet for me, please? Maybe? Thank you very much. All right, we have 3 citizens who would like to address the board. We've got so one on number 9, Ms. Rogers, you'd like to speak at item 6.3, and I cannot read this last name, Beth Perdue? I'm sorry, what is it? Oh, so you did not want to speak. Okay, all right, great. So Mr. Dellinger, you're at number 9, Ms. Rogers at 6.3. I will call you Ms. Rogers at that. So, okay, thank you. Item 4 is the superintendent update. I turn it over to Dr. Ryan.
Thank you. Good evening, community. On behalf of our school district, just want to put out some amazing vibes as far as this evening, how exciting it is to have our business professionals of America youth here represented and sharing some of their recent success. We're so very proud of them and looking forward to hearing their story this evening. And also for the representatives this evening from our Clarkston area youth assistants. It's a group that is intertwined very closely with our school district, our community, and a large part of Oakland County, and their way that they go above and beyond to really support the children, especially those that may be struggling at some points, to make sure that they have an added layer of support. And I'm really excited that they're here to kind of share their story and really give an idea of all the amazing things and connections that we have in our schools that make our kids safe, supported, and hopefully eventually successful and on their way, and then helping the next generation. So it's very much a labor of love. So we'll get to them this evening as well. Also this past Friday, I want to report in that our school district had a very strong day of professional learning. There was a lot of work done in the secondary around artificial intelligence and how that translates into the educational process here in Clarkston, and looking at how staff appropriately uses and how we engage with AI, with the obvious stepping stone to link it to looking at how our students interact and that, long-term, the value that we have in education for thinking, for engaging, not only with each other, but, with technology and seeing how things are used in the workforce, that we need to constantly be on our toes and looking forward, not looking backward. But that work was very much begun in earnest in a larger way with our entire staff. So I'm really happy to be able to report that work is being done. And also in our elementary this past week, all the work around looking at our future literacy resources, which will be coming to bear to this Board of Education and into the Clarkston Teaching Learning Council over the next week as they come to a final piece for looking at a new resource in Clarkston, which will very much continue that spirit of upgrading and moving into the future and high success for our students in reading. So very, very excited to see the work being done that, and I can tell you in earnest, our staff was very much engaged in working hard on all these different elements on Friday, and they're going to carry us into the future that way. So lastly, just hoping to get a little reprieve for our community on behalf of Clarkston to hopefully get us some warmer temperatures. It's been absolutely brutal to facilities and everything, keeping everything tight so that we can keep everybody safe and in school. We're doing our absolute best. I'm heard tomorrow might be a heat wave up, first time possibly above freezing in several months. So I, for one, is looking very much forward to that, and I hope you're all staying warm and connected as we move into this February. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ryan. Item 5 is the presentation items. Our first presentation is about BPA, which is Business Professionals of America, and we are recognizing them. The mic is yours. Thank you very much for coming today.
Good evening. Thank you for having me. My name is Julia Whitaker, and I'm the president of the Clarkston chapter of Business Professionals of America, or BPA. BPA is a competition-based club that allows students enrolled in career technical education courses to compete in events that correspond with their class. Events range from finance to computer science to media production, with competition formats including presentations, tests, case studies, and interviews. All Clarkston BPA members have the opportunity to compete at the regional competition, and qualifying students have the option to compete at the state level and possibly at the national level. BPA provides students with the opportunity to pursue experiences and careers that interest them outside of their education, expanding their learning and often resulting in accolades that they can show off to employers through their resume or on college applications. Tonight, I'm joined by the other 3 officers of the Clarkston chapter, and they're each going to tell you a little bit more about their individual experiences as members of BPA.
I'm Gavin Peruski. I'm a junior at Clarkston High School. I've been in BPA for 2 years. I'm one of the officers here at Clarkston. My favorite part about BPA is that there's so much more than just the business involved in BPA. It truly expands to like the healthcare administration, medical. I do the medical coding event, so I can learn more about what I want to do after high school in the medical field. I know that I have a lot of friends that are interested in normal coding, like with the computer, and they can find that, and it's so much more than just business. Also, people interested in media production and things that you don't typically involve with the word business. So I think it's really cool that there's a spot for everybody, and that can really help you learn what you want to do for a career and just give you some more experience with what you want to do after high school.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Matthew Drake. I'm also a junior at Clarkston High School, and I'm an officer for the BPA club. BPA has really helped me prepare for my future goals and academic growth. A lot of BPA classes revolve around CTE classes, which is career technical education. Last year I took an accounting class with the CTE program, and this class helped me join BPA, and with this class I decided to take 3 accounting events over the past 2 years in BPA, and these events really prepared me will prepare me for future college accounting classes. Another event that I did is the financial analyst team with Gavin. Together we went over a case study of a business using their financial statements, and we decided whether or not they should expand in the coming years. With my accounting experience through my accounting class and business management experience through my business management class, and also our problem-solving skills, we decided not to have the business expand. And this event really helped me with presentation skills, interpersonal communication, and teamwork skills. Overall, BPA has really helped me prepare for future college classes and helped me prepare for a future career in business, which I hope to pursue. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Hayden Smith. I'm also an officer in BPA. And so my story was last year I joined as a junior. And so I was in the entrepreneurship class that is provided. And so with that, I joined the entrepreneurship event. So for that, I had to create a 10-page long business plan. And so I created a consulting firm that connected high school students to employers, giving them shadowing opportunities. And so with that, I made it all the way to states. And then past that, during the summer, I partnered up with Door Financial Credit Union and Solvit Inc. and provided myself and another student shadowing experience at the executive level, which was amazing experience. I learned how executives communicate and solve problems and plan for the future. And BPA really influenced that as well. This year I'm doing the advanced interview event, which again, coming from the summer, is supporting a lot of my professional communication and a lot of my career preparedness. So yeah.
Thank you again for having us. Are there any questions that we can answer?
Does anybody have any questions, comments? How many students are part of BPA this year? I think it's getting bigger, right? So you've been on it for a few years, Julia, is that correct?
Yes. So the past 3 years, we've had about 50 to 60 students. All 50 to 60 students attend regionals, and then we usually have about 30 students who attend the state competition and a handful of students attending the national competition.
Okay, that's actually quite a bit more than I had expected. What's the, so I see three gentlemen, and one, is that pretty indicative? Are there more boys than girls, just out of curiosity?
There's definitely more boys than girls, but I think that we've also increased the number of girls who are involved in the club over the years. So I would say it's probably closer to like a 60-40 split.
That's great.
Yeah.
Wonderful. And then how many events can you guys do in a year? So you said the states, the nationals. Is there, I heard an advanced interview. Is that another event that not everybody does, or?
Each student can choose 2 events to participate in, so up to 1 team event. So usually students will participate in either 2 individual events or an individual event and a team event. And there's about 200 events, I think, that they can choose from.
Wow.
Ranging from business and marketing to digital media and computer science. But there's also open events that any student can compete in and some virtual events. So, for example, at the regional conference, I competed in 2 events and I qualified for states in both of those, but then I also competed in every open event. There's 12, I think, and I qualified in 6 of those for the state competition.
I love that. Thank you very much. Does anybody else have any questions or comments?
Where's the national competition this year?
This year, the national competition is in Nashville, but it changes every year, so.
Yeah, Nashville's nice. Enjoy it. Well, thank you guys very much. I'd love it if you guys could come up and shake our hand. We wish you luck, and we very much appreciate your coming today.
I'm sick, so
Except for her.
Yeah,
don't, sorry.
I don't want to get used to it.
Thank you very much.
But congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys coming
Good to see
tonight.
you.
Good luck. Yeah. That's right, you were probably in the entrepreneurship.
I was.
I heard. We will do one more presentation, and then we will take a short recess if you guys would like to leave. Everyone is welcome to stay for the whole meeting. But our next presentation before the break would be item 5.2 is Clarkston Area Youth Assistance Update.
Thank you. I'm Judy Ablisser. I'm the Vice Chair of Clarkston Area Youth Assistance. And this is Lauren Kloss, who is our caseworker, and she's going to be sharing some experiences and an update in a little bit, but I'll just give you a little update about the organization. As I said, my name is Judy Ablisser. I'm a retired education professor and administrator from Oakland University, and it's still in my blood, so I even when I left there, I then became very active in Kaya. As most of you know, Kaya is to strengthen families and youth and reduce delinquency and abuse through community involvement. So we really appreciate the sponsorship and the support of the schools and the community. So thank you very much. I'm not going to go over all the things that Kaya has been doing. We do have a couple copies of the annual report. You can also get it online if you'd like, and also check things out through our website. But I'm just going to highlight a couple of newer programs that we're doing, and then give you some dates of upcoming things. So one of the new programs we started this past year is called Music Mashup. And it started in the winter of last year at Pine Knob Elementary. And it's a 7-week program after school for kids between 2nd and 5th grade. And it's students have been identified that would benefit from having an opportunity to have some structure, but some social time. It's not to highlight people that are going to be great musicians, but it's just to bring kids together with some adults to support them and mentor them. And it was a great success when we did it last year, so much so that we ran it again in the fall at North Sashaba, and we're running it again now, again at Pine Knob. And we hope in the future to even spread it further. So that's one of our new exciting programs. That sort of replaced, or we used to do a homework club and a mentoring program, and we've phased those out and put the Music Mashup in its place at this point. The other program I want to highlight is our family education program. So for years we would have workshops and sessions where we would invite families and particularly parents to come to hear about different topics that would be of interest to them. Well, parents are really busy and under a lot of stress, and so time is a huge issue. And so we found that less and less parents were coming in the evening to our workshops. So we decided we'd get with the 21st century, and we decided to create podcasts instead, particularly to address the theme for last year was actually reducing stress for parents, and what a better way than being able to access a podcast whenever you want. And it was done through a question and answer period. That's the flyer from last year. There were 6 different podcasts last year, all relating to stress. I'll just quickly highlight them since you probably can't see them up there. The first was on stress busting tips, balanced family life, parenting with connection, blended families, sibling dynamics, and navigating mental health needs as a family. And last year, it was a question and answer period where we posed the questions, and counselors from LA Mental Health were the ones who responded. And those are still available. They'll be available, ongoing. And this year, we're doing one aimed for teenagers, and it's focusing on building relationships. The first one, which has now gotten the most attraction or most momentum, is stick those on, called Feed Hurts, Algorithms, FOMO, and Your Mood. I had no idea what FOMO was. I have the picture, but it means fear of missing out when you're dealing with social media. And we will be doing 6 again this year, and this year we are working with Giskin Counseling Services. All of the episodes are on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and through the Kaya website, so again, you can access that at any time. The other 2 things that I just want to highlight are some dates for some of our bigger events. So each April we do Pinwheels, which is to again promote healthy well-being and reduce delinquency and abuse in the community. So we've sent a save the date for our kickoff event, which is March 12th at 7:30 a.m. invitations will be going out. And the last one I want to highlight is our youth recognition, which is my very favorite program of the year and probably most people's favorite. It's when students are acknowledged for their personal growth and development through the year. And last year, I think we had 72, around 72 students, each one of them beaming from the passage that was read about them, and they got to shake everyone's hands. So it's a wonderful event. That again is on April 28th at 7 p.m. and it's going to be held again this year at Clarkston High School in the Performing Arts Center. Letters will be sent out to all the board members as we get closer to the time. So what I'd like to do now is turn it over to our caseworker, Lauren Kloss, and I have to say, we are so privileged and delighted to have Lauren as our caseworker. She works with the board incredibly well, and she also works with the students brilliantly. So we're really, really thrilled to have Lauren. So I'll turn it over to Lauren.
Thank you, Judy. And thank you all again for having us come and visit tonight. I know it's been a little while since we've been in front of the board to give an update, so we're glad we could come out tonight. So yes, many exciting things going on with our board. It's awesome to see how our volunteers are really rallying together to develop new creative programs to reach our community in all these new different ways. So, and our board's been growing. We've been gaining some new members over the last year and a half, so that's exciting as well. With casework, just some updates for you all. Since July of 25 until last Thursday, I checked my stats. I had 36 new cases come in that time frame. Most of them have been from schools for school incorrigibility, some for prevention and a few for truancy or educational neglect, as well as others from like law enforcement, the juvenile intake department, prosecutor's office, and from parents as well. Some trends this year, kind of the same as some other past years as well, but vaping with nicotine and marijuana, that's probably the biggest concern I keep seeing on my caseload. As well as threats, bullying, harassment type things, general incorrigible or defiant behavior, either in school or at home, as well as sharing inappropriate pictures with one another, destruction of property, and retail fraud. This year, with the juvenile justice reform that happened with the state of Michigan, all juvenile courts are required to do a new assessment process. So that includes us, even though we're not formal court, we are a diversion of the court. We're informal, but we are also doing this new assessment process with everyone who's 12 years and older on my caseload. So one assessment in particular looks at 8 different areas of what they call criminogenic risk. And I always tell families, I don't like using that word because it makes it sound like everyone's a criminal, but that's not the case. We want to look and we want to reduce anything that might be maybe heading in the wrong direction, and we want to reduce that, right? We do not want to go in the direction of any criminal type behavior or court or anything like that. We want to target specific areas that might be risk and reduce that. So our goals and objectives are really targeting any of those areas that are being flagged as a higher risk area and doing things to make sure we're addressing those particular areas especially. So some examples of interventions, maybe if it's substance use, I have them do maybe a research project or attend like the Power of Choice class that we've partnered with Easter Seals to host, which is all about substance use education and prevention. Maybe they create a vision board. It's a really fun project where they do some dreaming and goal setting, and we work on what do you want in your future, and then come up with action steps and action plans to help them focus on what they want to live for and what they value and what they're going after. Maybe they're doing some community service hours, really giving back to the community in different ways. Clarkston Family Farm is one of our favorites. The kids love going over there, and I know they love having many students serve in some capacity for many different reasons. Ripple Effects Lessons it's an online tool that we have right now that's an evidence-based program that I use often with my kids, and they're just very short online lessons on all sorts of different topics. So we'll pick and choose ones that help address what we need to, as well as other interactive activities with me to work on different skills like decision making, peer, friendships and relationships, communication, coping, etc. Sometimes they'll write an essay, like getting them thinking more about their choices and outcomes and what they've learned, or doing a letter of apology if that's appropriate. We'll also watch videos often on all sorts of different topics, and then sometimes they go and observe adult court at the county courthouse, which is always very interesting to hear what they've seen and observed at the county courthouse to get that kind of reality check of this is real life and these are the choices that can lead in that direction. We don't want to go there. And then, of course, always connecting families with their needed resources, with mental health, with parent support or parent classes, any other basic needs that they might have, always looking to help connect them with what they need to help support them. So, as always, we just thank you so much, Clarkston Community Schools and School Board, and just the partnership that we have with you. We really appreciate your sponsorship, your partnership. We really couldn't do the work that we do without all of you and the close relationship that we do have with everyone in the school. So thank you again.
Thank you. Does anybody have Rep. Ponce?
Okay, so you described Kaya as a diversion from the core, right? So I want to ask, do you have like any, does Kaya ever interface with the other diversion programs like Team Court, for example?
Oh, that's a good question. Teen court, my understanding of that is it's more, I think the prosecutor's office works closely with teen court or the probation officers with formal court. They work more on that side of it and do referrals into teen court. So I have not personally done referrals into teen court. I think that one's a newer one that I'm not even sure if our end of it would be able to refer into it, because we're the really early prevention side of court. We're very informal. There's a lot of kids I see that are not at all in trouble with anything. We're just working on kind of typical life stuff and support. So youth assistance is kind of unique in that we're a diversion program, but we're really early on prevention.
Thank you. Does anyone else have any questions or comments? Yes, Mrs. McGinnis.
I would just like to commend you, the podcast. I think it was a fabulous idea. I think it's you got to go where they're at. Exactly. And if they're not coming to your meetings, you got to go to them. Exactly. So I love the podcast. I was part of the parent network with Kaya many years ago. And I think also changing up the homework club to the music mash is also going where the kids are going. And I think it's both of those changes are going to be to the benefit of the organization when it comes to outreach to our kids. So thank you very much. Thank you. You're welcome.
Thank you very much for coming tonight. We often talk about how much we appreciate all the work that you do. And I know Mr. Heyer and I were talking with our student reps at lunch last week about all that you offer and all that you do. And we spoke very highly and we're very appreciative. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, those are our presentations. We're going to take a quick, please say yes. Actually, clap for that. Yes. We are going to take a quick 5-minute break. If you would like to leave, you may scoot out now. If you'd like to stay for the rest of the meeting, you may do that as well. So we'll reconvene in just a couple minutes. I'm very impressed that our BPA officers are staying. Often, we don't get that, so well done, guys. Okay, we're going to move on to our action items. Item 6.1 is approval of personnel changes. May I have a motion, please?
I move that the Board of Education approves the personnel changes as listed on the attached sheets.
Support.
Motion made and supported. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 6.2 is approval of the revised contract for the safety director. May I have a motion, please?
I move that the Board of Education approves the contract renewal with SEC Shield for our district safety director as presented.
Support.
Motion made and supported. All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed?
Nay.
Motion carries. Item 6.3 is approval of the resolution regarding the regional enhancement millage election. Before I entertain a motion, Dr. Ryan, would you give a quick update or a quick summary of this?
Absolutely. The Oakland County millage proposal that our board is going to be reviewing this evening is regarding a possible regional enhancement millage for Oakland County from across our entire school district. The action allows a countywide question to appear on the August 2026 ballot across the county. And it's on behalf, at least for our school board members tonight, it does not represent a support or opposition to the proposal directly. The resolution simply ensures that a decision rests with the voters of our community. And it's not just us that's considering this. It has to be and will be reviewed across school boards and school districts across Oakland County. And to make it to the actual ballot, it will need to be passed by school districts representing over 50% of the students in Oakland County for it to end up on the ballot. It'll be on an August 26 ballot, and it has to be proposed and approved by voters across the entire county by a majority for it to actually take effect. And some of the whys behind reviewing this proposal this evening is that since the 1990s, school funding has largely been controlled by the state. It's done in a very cookie-cutter format for all, on a per pupil for all students, and that before that, prior to 1994, it was very common that the way that school districts generated and received their revenue was going to their local voters to pass and to have school districts that were funded the way that their communities intended and wanted them to be funded. That sense of local control has largely been lost. There's very few avenues for school districts to be able to look at their local voters to be able to fund the schools that the way they want to do that. And this is one of the small ways that is still available to voters, and it's used by many counties across the state of Michigan. It's also a fact that based on this cookie cutter model that the state of Michigan has, that school costs continue to rise faster than the state and federal funding that supports the schools nationally, and there's really no ear or view to individual school districts based on their needs, their level of success, or how they use taxpayer money to convert that into student achievement to be actually viewed by that community in terms of how they support their local schools. This enhancement millage would be one way that our local community could weigh in and how they want their schools funded. Having a countywide millage, just to make sure that's clear, because normally our voters do not vote on proposals like this. They do vote on proposals for school bonds. To be clear, school bonds are used by our local community to support the building and maintenance of our physical facilities. If we want to build buildings or put roofs or repair parking lots, those are those things. And the money from school bonds is exclusively and only allowed to be used on those type of capital projects, they call them. A countywide millage, on the other hand, can be used for a wider range of different things within our school district and school districts across Oakland County. That does include things like staff recruitment, retention, safety initiatives, our money for all the different things we do to support the students in the specialized programs, and elements of things like class size. So think of the human element of a school district that's to support. Also, Clarkston's a unique spot that if a millage would pass in our community, I can say to a certainty that all the dollars raised by that millage would stay in Clarkston Community Schools. In addition, based on the formula that is done in determining the funding based on these countywide millages, Clarkston would actually receive money from other communities from Oakland County that would flow into Clarkston. So by this proposition, it would have the opportunity to actually raise additional funds that not even the Clarkston community itself would be able to, on the similar millage would be able to generate. The specifics of the proposal would involve an August 4th, 2026 election date. If it was passed by a majority of school districts representing the students of Oakland County, the rate would be 1.5 mils. The term would be 6 years. And the estimated impact, if approved, to be transparent, would be an increase of roughly $781 per pupil annually that it would raise, and approximately $4,686 per pupil over the 6 years. Approximately $150 would be an increase on the average $200,000 home. Again, it would be $150 on a $200,000 home. The first collection for this would take place in December of 2026. And just to be clear also that Oakland County does not currently have any type of millage like this, and that most of our neighboring districts, for a competitive advantage, including Wayne, levies a 1.9 mil, and Macomb County also levies a 1.8 mil. I know other counties across the state do similar things in terms of with their voters that have support to support local funding. What the board would be taking action on tonight is not whether that they have a personal belief at this time that the millage should pass. They're just voting tonight, deciding whether or not that Oakland County voters should be giving the opportunity to weigh in on the educational opportunities if they see fit. This action, in my estimation, supports transparency and public participation by allowing our community to get information on how they feel like the revenue and funds should be used. It does give an element of our local community, given a voice to decide what type of schools that they want to have and how they want to invest in them. And this is a governance decision this evening, not an advocacy one. The proposal would provide local flexibility, not mandates. We have enough mandates from the state and federal government that don't necessarily align with the values and what we believe in Clarkston. And for us to be able to support the kind of schools that we want for this community, this would provide that opportunity for voters to be able to sound off. And that if the county, and it allows the community to review the facts, ask questions, all the way between now and August in a very transparent way to decide how they feel about it and their level of support. So this evening, it's my duty as your superintendent. I'm the #1 advocate for schools in Clarkston Community, and for a proposition that would affect Oakland County, what I would say for our board to be able to have an opportunity to weigh in on it, and then potentially allow our voters to be able to make their voices heard as well. So I'd turn it over to Ms. Crane.
Thank you very much. All right, may I have a motion, please?
Oh, can I say something?
Not until the motion's been made and supported.
I move that the Board of Education approves the attached resolution requesting that Oakland Schools submit to its electors the question of a regional enhancement millage proposal for 1.5 mils for a period of 6 years at the election to be held on August 4th, 2026 as presented.
Support.
All right, motion has been made and supported. Mrs. Love?
Yes, I would like to, respectfully disagree with Dr. Ryan on some of his points. I believe this defies local control, because local control would mean that it was Clarkston Community Schools voters only. This is the whole county. And we know that Oakland County is 100% going to pass this if we get it on the ballot. They did the abhorrent transportation tax that brought no benefit to Clarkston. And I just want my fellow board members to remember that we are elected officials by the people here in Clarkston. They don't want another tax increase. And Dr. Ryan said $200,000 was the average home price, but that's actually not true. Clarkston's like double that. So it would be probably $300 or more per person. It adds up. And our constituency does not want this, and we should vote according to who elected us. And I also wanted to get the student rep's opinion on this as well.
Do I have more? Mrs. McGinnis?
I have a couple questions I just want to put out there so that somebody can get the answer later. Number one, I want to say thank you for Superintendent bringing the transparency to this conversation to let the public know, to the best of our ability, what this vote is about. A couple of the questions I have is Clarkston Community Schools paying for our portion of this election as if it was a Clarkston School Board election within the election, or is Oakland Schools paying for it? One. Will Oakland Schools be providing the public with the factual presentation as we would with a bond campaign or non-renewal of our homestead? In the future, I'd like a little bit more information for our public to understand how the funding is divided. And unlike approximately, and other senior board member here can correct me if I'm incorrect here, unlike the 11 other school districts in Oakland County who are we are a non-homestead district. We cannot ask to have
Hold harmless.
Hold harmless, thank you. We cannot ask to have our operating funds millage raised based on a request to our community. Only 11 other districts in Oakland County can do that. We can't. So, and they already get more per pupil than we get. So you can see the disadvantages that Clarkston is always working with since 1994 when it comes to our per pupil allocation. So for those reasons and many more, of which I do not speak for every single person in this community, I will bring an affirmative to allow this to be brought to our public.
Okay, just on the question side, I believe that August, and again, not to quote me right now, I'll come back with clarification, committee, if I'm wrong, is a final primary before that, so they'd already be having the election. I don't know if there's that as far as an additional cost to having that. I do know in school districts, as entities call their own election where there's no other election going on, they are fully responsible, so I don't think that's the case. The second thing is I do believe that Oakland Schools will provide informational data and background and additional from there. And I do think through the process that we owe our community explanations, continued opportunity to ask questions and being how it would affect our community and any such funds and how they'd be invested. I think those are all fair questions that we would want to be 100% transparency. And then those are, I think, the main gesture questions. And then to loop back to Ms. Love, just on the comment about the house is, the $200,000 house estimate is not an average, for just to clarify, for a house in Clarkston. It's usually just done for illustrative purposes that people can think if I live in a less expensive or more expensive home, they can kind of get what that relative cost. So if that was unclear, then I apologize, but it was usually I think that's like the standard used when they do for estimations for increase for anything to do with tax base changes.
Thank you for clarifying. I thought you might be citing the whole Oakland
No,
County
I don't
or
believe that
something.
would be the average thing, but I think that's like in any type of model they use and any informational thing, they always say based on a $200,000 house. Yeah, obviously that would be graduated based on that.
Mr. McNaughton.
I wanted to, I guess, respond to something Ms. Love mentioned about requesting student representatives in the meeting on this. I appreciate the concern for our opinions, but I think that it's kind of unconventional to maybe ask a specific section of the school board on how an issue like this, I think that we can kind of speak up for ourselves on this issue. So I appreciate the desire for our opinions on the thing that's kind of harmful to decide whether we're
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody else? Mr. Heyer?
This is a curious proposal. I really question the timing of this at this particular time. I know things are especially volatile right now economically, and going for this at this point, I feel like could be a real challenge for our community. I think we'd want to have more time and more chance than this to come up really at the next major election. That's my main concern at this point.
Do we have to, is tonight like the last night we could vote on this? I'm just curious.
I can't remember the exact date. It was I think this or March. It was close.
Liz, end of March, is that correct,
End
Miss?
of March, was that? End of March. Okay. So,
From an agenda planning standpoint, it was either this meeting or the next meeting that
Yes.
we had as far as a choice of when to take it up.
And next weekend is a workshop meeting, and it's not
So we
being
would-
as
yeah.
much in the public eye as this one would be.
which I appreciate when we sit at the table and talk about how we respectfully disagree, because I do think that's the strength of this board in particular, is that we can respectfully disagree. And Mrs. Lovewell, I have the utmost respect for your political prowess, because I think you're amazing. Like, I've talked to people that both in Clarkston and in Oakland County. I don't know that this is a sure thing from what I've heard. And then I also...
I think we run in different circles.
We may, but... And then I also just in Clarkston have had as many people say, I think that people deserve to vote, even in Clarkston. And I do want it known, I mean, and I think it was, and Dr. Ryan said, but I feel very strongly that I want it out in the public that a yes vote here is not an endorsement of this millage. And I know, I think we've all said it a couple different ways, but I also wanted to say it. So with the is discussion any further? Mrs. Rogers, if you'd like to come up, I will. I'm going to start the timer once after you say your name and address, and you will have 2 minutes to address the board.
All right. Beth Rogers, 7165 Hogback Lake Road. President Crane School Board. You are going to vote, I believe, tonight on bringing the school enhancement millage to voters. This vote is a critical example of what democracy should be, giving the vote to the people. What a unique and valuable opportunity you have to make a positive impact, potentially, on our district. Here's what I believe. Where the federal government and the state might let us down, our community will not. CCS is as much a part of Clarkston as Honcho, Depot Park, and Pine Knob. Our students play in Friday night football games. They march in the band. They are there in every parade, from the youngest dancing with pom-poms to the Boy Scouts on floats to Team Rush and the amazing robots that they build. Our students are amazing rock stars, athletes, engineers, construction tech wizards, robotics programmers, artists, musicians, military recruits, and so much more. They are the very future of Clarkston, of Michigan, and beyond. We have a shared belief in and responsibility to our children. We are securing the future for them through the decisions we make today. This opportunity for local funding will help our children continue to have the opportunities we offer to be well prepared for their future, so they will go and achieve their dreams. Thank you for your thoughtful consideration and support for our kids as you vote to give our community a voice and a choice.
Thank you, Mrs. Rogers. All right. Item 6.3 is a roll call vote. Mrs. McLean, can you call the roll, please?
Mr. Need?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
No.
Mrs. Love?
No.
Mrs. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mrs. Egan?
Yes.
Mr. Heyer?
No.
Mrs. Crane?
Yes. 4-3, motion carries. Item 6.4 is approval of the budget amendment resolution. May I have a motion, please?
I move the Board of Education approves the budget amendment resolution as presented.
Support.
Motion made and supported. Is there any discussion on this? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Sorry, I need a roll call vote. You do? Okay, doesn't say.
Mrs. Egan?
Yes.
Sorry.
Mrs. McGinnis?
Yes.
Mrs. Love?
Yes.
Mr. Clark?
Yes.
Mr. Need? Mr. Heyer?
Yes.
Mrs. Crane?
Yes, thank you. Item 6.5 is approval of the Filter First Initiative contract. May I have a motion, please?
I move that the Board of Education approves the filtered water equipment, Filter First Healthy Hydration Initiative, contract to Service Pro in the amount of $106,000 as presented.
Support.
All right, Mr. Goodman, could you come up and say a few words, please?
Yes, thank you. I just want to give you real brief what this is. In 2024, we applied for the grant for the Filter First Healthy Initiative. What it really is a state law that is making all K-12 schools and private schools put filters for lead in their buildings. And it's not to do with that we have bad water, but a lot of older buildings have older infrastructure, and this is like, they kind of call it a seat belt that will, versus us testing and then being reactive to how to solve it, the filters will be taking care of that as they're required to do. And so they have to meet the water, like ANSI and these different rules of what type of filter we can use, as well as all the filter stations that we are going to provide have to have indicator lights to let us know that the filters, it aged and needs to be replaced. Also within this grant, we are required to test all these areas at least annually, just to have that if there was something to come about. Right now, we only test schools that we have well water. This will require us to do all of our schools, so there'll be additional operating costs for changing the filters and for doing the testing, again, annually for each building. So in 24 we applied for the grant. In 25, January of 25, we had to have a water management plan, and then now we're bringing to you tonight for the award of a plumber to come in that will purchase the equipment and then install the equipment for us. Within that, all water, anywhere a kid can drink water or a staff member, has to be filtered. So and part of the filtration is one bottle filler, filtered bottle filler for every 100 kids. So in elementary, for instance, 500 would be 5 bottle fillers within that building. We also, anywhere like a teacher's lounge or where we do food prep in the kitchens, those will have to have inline filters. So we will be removing all bubblers that are in the classrooms. Right now there's a hand washing sink with a bubbler next to it. The kids don't really use those anymore. When bottle fillers came out, kids bring their own bottle and then they go out and that's chilled water and so forth. So if we left the bubbler, we'd have to put an inline filter and then we'd have to test that annually. So removing it just gets us out of that process. The second or third or fifth part of this is anywhere we don't have a filter, we have to label that as non-filtered water. It's not for drinking. So basically, it would be a hand washing sink or listed as that. So that's part of the law, is we have to have filter wherever we will have students and staff and visitors drink out of, and then anywhere it's not, we have to label that it's not filtered. So again, this request award for this bidder will get us started in replacement and additions to meet the criteria. Any questions?
Thank you, Mr. Goodman. Are there any
I
questions?
do have a question. Do we do the testing, or is the county coming in and testing, or is the township testing?
We will test but we take it to a lab. So we'll get the bottles from the county, most likely take it to the county. The county's pretty reasonable as far as the testing rate, but there's private labs. We have different options, but we'll actually pull the samples and take them to a lab.
And we do that annually or every 6 months?
Annually for this new law.
Okay. And so, like, when we're testing, is it the water that's coming out of anything that's filtered? Like, do we have to test every spigot that has a filter on it?
Everyone that has a filter, because those others we're not using for drinking water. So part of testing for lead, because we do this now in our buildings with a well, and we test for other things, arsenic and lead and copper and coliform and so forth. For this law, it's just for lead, and the lead test is the first draw in the morning after it sits for 6 hours. Because what you're really trying to get is there something coming out of the pipes within the building? Again, it's going through the seat belt with the filter, and then we're going to test. But it just gives us background that the filter should be pulling anything out, and that's why the indicator lights and that, to make sure that we replace. So we've been doing this. Oakland County had a grant back 2018-19, if you recall. We ended up with 60 bottle fillers throughout the district. It was only I think it was K-8, didn't include the high school. With that, the filters they can be pricey, and we go through them. We're really going to have to figure out what this looks like in the kitchens when they're using it for food prep, how many filters, how often those filters will be replaced. But we might replace 3 to 4 times a year, and we'll buy in bulk, but these filters aren't cheap.
Yeah. And then when do we have to be in compliance with this law? Like, is there a deadline to get all this implemented?
At the end of the June 30th.
Okay.
Now that may get extended because every school in the state has to have bottle fillers done. Our supplier right now says they can supply us the equipment, and with your approval tonight, we'll get them going right away. We're going to have to do some work after hours or during breaks, and that doesn't leave us much time in the summer to have it complete by June 30th. But we'll do it if we get it. That's our plan right now. Is we talk to the bidder and he can have it done.
Okay.
Mrs. Love?
Thank you.
I was just curious, is this a new law or has this been existing for a while?
It's a new law.
It is a new law under the current House?
Yeah, it's from the state. It's not through the county, and it was federally funded. There was $50 million given to the state in grants to apply to fund to make it to qualify to get your buildings up to par.
Okay, so it was a federal grant?
It's a federal.
Okay,
it's
thank
a
you for
state-ran grant, but the funds are from the federal.
Got it.
Is there any further questions?
I do.
Mrs. McGinnis.
Madam President, thank you. Wes, are we testing the water after filter or before filter?
At the filter.
Okay, so the filters should be doing their job.
Right.
Conceivably. It would be interesting for you, of course, to keep some kind of track of what this costs, since this, I believe, is an unfunded mandate from the government for us to do this, which means the money will come out of our general fund.
Yeah, we'll definitely keep track. We'll have yes, it will.
And am I correct to assume that lead cannot be boiled out of the water when you speak of the kitchen use?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Is there anybody else? All right, the motion has been made and supported. Thank you, Mr. Goodman. I appreciate it. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 6.6 is approval of the Transportation Building Improvements Contract. May I have a motion, please?
I move the Board of Education approves the contracts for the Clarkston Transportation Improvements Project based on the attached breakdown. The contracts total $1.338 million, $2.40, plus a 7.5% contingency of $100,350 for a grand total of $1,438,352.40 as presented.
Support.
Is there any questions or discussion on this?
You may recall we did some of the transportation bids in January to allow some additional time for that work to be done, and this is the rest of them. So this finishes the transportation project and what we need to approve for bids.
Thank you, Mr. Heyer. All right, seeing no more discussion, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 6.7 is approval of Andersonville Elementary Generator Project Contract. May I have a motion, please?
I move that the Board of Education approves the contracts for the Andersonville Elementary Generator Project based on the attached breakdown. The contracts total $73,360.67 plus a 10% contingency of $7,336 for a final total of $80,696.67 as presented.
Support.
Thank you. Motion's made and supported. Is there any questions or comments?
I would just comment that this was actually the generator that we were repurposing from the junior high and moving it over to Andersonville. We did talk about that, I believe, when we did the tour at the junior high, but I just wanted to remind everybody that that was the purpose. That's what this project is.
Thank you, Mrs. Egan. Right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 6.8 is approval of the change order for Clarkston High School's mechanical work. May I have a motion, please?
I move that the Board of Education approve the construction change order for Bumler Mechanical in the amount of $117,949 as presented.
Support.
Motion made and supported. Is there any question or discussion? All right. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 6.9 is approval of the change order for the Clarkston Junior High School excavating. May I have a motion, please?
I move that the Board of Education approve the construction change order for Johnson & Sons Excavating in the amount of $61,005 as presented.
Support.
Motion made and supported. Are there any questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 6.10 is approval of the board operating procedures. May I have a motion, please?
I move that the Board of Education approves the revised board operating procedures as presented.
Support.
All right, I will remind you that I sent these out last month. I changed the mission statement and vision statement to reflect our most recent strategic plan. And then I added Mr. Need and Mrs. Love as part of our board goals, gave us a superintendent evaluation timeline. I added that to the board operating procedures. And I, as your president, apparently dropped the ball because it says in the board operating procedures that we will affirm them annually at our retreat, and we did not. So we are doing it now. So I appreciate that. Is there any further discussion or questions about this? Yes, Mrs. Love.
I would just like to commend our president on being proactive to do this. This was very good.
Thank you, I appreciate it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 6.11 is the approval of the MASB tool for the superintendent evaluation. May I have a motion, please?
I move that the Board of Education approves the updated superintendent evaluation tool from MASB as presented.
Support.
All right, I will remind you that by law, we have to evaluate our superintendent annually unless he gets 3 years, I believe, of effective, and then we can go biannual, but we do need to tell him what tool we'll be using so he knows, what yardstick that we'll be using. So this is what that is, and it also is in the board operating procedures that we will do this. So any further discussion or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Therein ends our lengthy action items for tonight. We will move on to our report items. Our first report item, and our very first time ever, thank you very much, is an update from our student representatives.
Hello. Me and Jay wanted to inform you about a few points related to both student representation within Clarkston schools and just some things that our students in our community are doing that you might not hear about all the time. That really make an impact on our school and our community. The email is going to be sent out tomorrow, I believe, to all Clarkston High School students. That will give Clarkston High School students a little bit more information about the student representative program and what we're really trying to achieve with this program. We're looking up the potential to be setting up a Google Classroom soon that will provide easier access to us as student representatives. So students in Clarkston High School can both submit ideas, opinions understanding more about what the student representatives are doing in our roles. And we are also looking forward to sharing ideas and solutions that our students can contribute as part of the school board and in other areas.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. Does anybody have any questions or comments for our representatives? I would love to talk more about the teen court thing, maybe not now, but can anybody participate in that in the judicial side, or?
Right, so the teen court is only actually, it's not like open, you can't sign up for it. So in order to be a teen court member, you have to firstly be a student of one of our law classes at the high school. So I think our classes are Law and Society 1 and 2. So if you're a student of either of these classes, or if you ever have been, you can go through a teen court training procedure where Mrs. Sims from the Oakland County Prosecutor's Office will essentially come to this high school in order to essentially explain to the students how to participate in teen court, whether as a juror, or as a clerk, or as an attorney. And then the teen court coordinator, who is Mrs. Grosso at the high school, the law, sociology, and civics teacher, she will assign, often randomly, not always, the people who will be participating in a particular teen court case in a given month. Usually we have one teen court session every month. Last month we had 2 in order to compensate for the fact that we were unable to hold one in December. So there she decides that you're going to be a clerk, which means that you swear people in, you call the courtroom to order, and essentially assist the judge in that regard. You can be a teen juror, in which you decide the sentence of the person who's been adjudicated for this combat crime, or you can be a teen attorney. In that case, you can either actually represent the teen and explain why you believe that they should be given a more lenient sentence, or you can be a prosecutor, in which you explain why the teen should get a more harsh sentence, a big harsh they should be required to do more for the community, because this is fundamentally a restorative program.
Yep. Okay, thank you very much, Jay, and thank you very much, Representative McNaughton. Any further questions? All right, we appreciate you guys, and we appreciate you guys giving up so much of your time to be here. Report item 7.2 is our monthly finance report. Ms. Nag.
Good evening, everyone. This is a slightly different format that when you have seen in the past, just change from one finance director to the next. This is kind of a trial run for me of things I think will be useful and helpful coming out of my office. But at any times, if you have questions or would like to see things in a slightly different way, let me know and I will tweak this to the best of my ability. So page 1, monthly expense reports. So I'll give you the breakdown of payroll for the month. Pay 9 was 4.2 million and pay 10 was 4 million. That consists of gross payroll, retirement, FICA, and then any contributions we make on the behalf of employees, and then their federal and local taxes. Then Corebridge mandatory 403B payouts. Those are people who have either retired or resigned and have accumulated so much in sick time payout, it's in their contract that we will pay that into 403B on their behalf. EduStaff payments for the month of just shy of $500,000. Those are our contracted staff at the district. UAAL payment for November was the unfunded actuarial liability that comes on state aid from the state of Michigan that we turn around and pay into retirement. And then ACH payments for the month, those are the payments that come out electronically of the bank account. And then bills payable are the things that get processed by hand by Julie in the AP department. So all of that to total $15,075,962.26 for the month of November. monthly investment report. This is either the cash balance or the investment balance, depending on the type of account for the month of November. With all funds accounted for, we have just over 190 million, just shy, I should say, of 191 million between cash and investments to our name at the end of November. And then 3-year fund equity. You guys have seen this. In the past, I changed a little bit to make it a little bit easier for me to read and easier to kind of compare where we're sitting from the last 2 years to today. So as you can see, November, we're fairly comparable, a little bit higher at just shy of 20, just over 20 million in fund equity for the general fund. And then the following pages are the check register for November. So that's every check via Julie processing that has gone out of the district. If this feels like everything you guys are looking for, I will get it caught up next month for December through February, and then we'll stay current every month.
Wonderful, thank you. Do you have any questions or comments for Ms. Nag? I just want to thank you for all your work you're doing. We know it's a big job, and we appreciate how much effort you're putting into it.
Thank you.
And how much you're working with us. I think our workshop a couple weeks ago was wonderful. So thank you very much. Okay, item 8 is our discussion items. We are a little over halfway since we made our goals, so I thought we should talk about our goals. I asked you, we left our retreat with 7 board goals, and we kind of divvied those up. So the entire board priority goals, Cheryl and Elizabeth, you guys want to talk about the first one? I know you just had a meeting recently with Mrs. Mahoney. So that one was about understanding better our current systems of support and how we're going to expand into the secondary level.
Yeah, I can start if that's all right with you, Mrs. McGinnis. I just brought my notes from that meeting. We focused this particular meeting on the new law PA 146, which gives us measures for reading intervention for K through 7. And we talked about what does that screening look like, and what will the interventions look like, and then what do we want to do for 8 through 12 grades right now. We talked about the big rocks in K through 5 literacy and math 6 through 8. So that was our initial discussion with Mrs. Mahoney on, it's focused on literacy and ADHD, I believe. And do you want to add to that?
I would only add that I feel that we're well ahead of many districts in the area. I'm sorry, I'm losing my voice today. Because of the work that our reading team has been doing over the years, piloting several different programs for our reading intervention work, or reading and then potentially intervention work. So I think we're probably well ahead of many other districts in this regard. I think the work that our teachers are doing in this area is unbelievably detailed in what their expectation levels are, which is only going to result in the best programming for our students. I think that from what I know from other districts, they're well behind where our teachers are already at. And so I think we're well on our way to exploring what works best for our district here, and looking forward to seeing some continued advancements with our students' reading capabilities.
The other thing is in our discussion, we suggested maybe at the next opportunity in front of the board, maybe have like a timeline of for professional development for the teachers, just show us where, the progress is being made to hit these deadlines. So
I would love that. Thank you. Any questions or discussion about that goal? Thank you very much for your work on that. Thank you, Mrs. Mahoney. The second one with Mrs. Love and Mrs. Egan, I think should actually be after the third one. The second one was about developing the elevator pitch for Clarkston.
Correct.
And the third one, however, we think has to come first, which is Mr. Heyer and myself working with the administration and our board to define our culture by outlining our core values and developing our core values speech. Our March workshop is going to be devoted to that. So we will have some homework kind of going out to the board before then, and we'll be working on that at our March workshop. And then I think then Mrs. Love and Mrs. Egan can probably take some of what that and do the elevator pitch. So more to come on that one. The board committee governance goals, the first one, Mr. Need and Mrs. Love have done a wonderful job developing a plan and timeline for our annual superintendent evaluation, which thank you very much. That was just voted into our board operating procedures tonight. So I don't know that we need to talk about that anymore. Second one is also Mr. Heyer and myself developing a plan to schedule an agenda, do the workshops at the different schools. And the very first time we tried to do that, the snow day got the best of us. So we had to pivot really quickly. Rather than Independence, we had our workshop here. In 2 weeks, we will be meeting at Pine Knob Elementary, so we are going to start doing that. Do you have anything else to say? I think that's... Number 3, Mr. Clark and Mr. Heyer providing careful oversight of the ongoing bond construction projects. Do you want to give an update?
We are obviously taking care of $195 million of taxpayer dollars, and we think as a board it's critically important that we oversee how that's being spent and making sure our projects are covering everything we said they would and make sure we're on time and on budget as we do that. And so Mr. Clark, myself, and Mrs. Egan meet on a monthly basis with our construction, our design, our technology team, along with our buildings and grounds staff here. And we go through in great detail, and they answer any questions that we might have, and making sure that we are on schedule and on budget for what we're doing. And because we have such great experts working for us, we rarely have anything that comes up that is a surprise. With the construction process, there are certainly things that do come up, but we usually have those funds available in our contingencies and plan that things like needing helical piers in the junior high to secure a wall are already part of what we've allowed. And so the great team makes this easy as we go. We are on schedule at this point for the junior high, and look forward to scheduling some time for the whole board to see the junior high when the maybe the snow isn't quite so deep. And we want to look at the track at the junior high as well. That will be a future discussion for us as we look at some options there. And we want to set some time that some of us will go look at the penthouses that we'll be putting on the high school this summer and next summer to replace our aging HVAC system out there. It's somewhat of a custom engineering feat to stick the equipment that we need in this, essentially like a shipping container kind of a thing that gets, weighs several tons and gets lifted on the roof this summer and next summer. And so we'll be taking a look at that. They're building them in Fenton for us. So that'll be really, really exciting. And we're doing as good as we can possibly do to make sure we're taking care of our resources the best we can.
Thank you. Thank you 3 who are on that committee. I appreciate it. Does anyone have any questions or further update on that? Our last board goal was about evaluating and selecting a board policy provider, which it has been selected, and just was looking for an update on where we're at with moving forward with that. So we went with Miller Johnson. And
Correct, and we have a meeting scheduled here in a couple of weeks. I don't remember the date right off, for our first review and moving forward. I think a 2.5-hour meeting. Starting at 5, going to like 8:30 at night. Mm-hmm. So there'll be approximately 4 or 5 of those that will be transpiring in the next couple of months to put us on track to be able to start the new year, a new school year, with a brand new policy and housed on the website and available in a transparent manner for our community to review.
Nice. So these meetings, I remember when we were interviewing them, these are to go through our current policy to make sure they match.
Correct. Remove any redundancies that might be there, possibly realign some policies that would, of course, all of it will come to the board for review also and approval. I think there will be some sessions where administrators and others will come into the meetings as appropriate to potentially just make sure that we're not overlooking something that we as a board don't see from a day-to-day operation standpoint that is not our responsibility. And ensure that as we rewrite these policies that they stay appropriate to the district and appropriate to the leadership role the board plays versus the administration.
Well, thank you for all your work and time on this. I know that a 3.5-hour meeting on late at night doesn't sound fun, but
on top of work.
How long, like when should we expect, like, we're fully moved over and our policy book is done, like, just calendar-wise, like when?
I think based on Mr. Sutton's emails, we should be set by June. I mean, as long as everything's approved and the board is happy with that.
Okay. Are we doing anything besides the policy? Because didn't they also offer something else as well, right? Just
Administrative
They have
reviews.
guidelines.
The
Yeah,
guidelines.
call
That's
them
what I was
something a little
thinking,
bit
yeah.
different.
Okay. That's
So we should allow for some significant policy time?
Well, I
between
guess
now
what I
and
would
then?
ask is that as we finalize packets, that we might want to bring them in nuggets to the board.
Please.
Especially to the planning committee so that we can get them
Yeah,
on
because we're
for
going to be
first
looking at
reading,
like
second.
3 or 4 sections at each of these meetings, so it's, it will be a lot.
Yeah. Well, I
So-
mean, but the idea is, I mean, it's going to be a smaller
Yeah,
policy.
I
so-
wonder if we could actually potentially get those larger sections after you guys have gone through them. Maybe we could get them right away so that we can get more of than a 3 or 4 day period to go through those. Because
That's a good idea.
I think we all should take some time, and obviously we may not get through hundreds of pages in a weekend.
Yeah.
I'm sure I could provide you a chat overview.
Yeah. That's it.
Well, I mean, certainly from an overview, yes, but I mean, these are important that
Absolutely.
we know exactly what's in there, and because they're new to all of us, I think we should allow everybody plenty of time.
Yeah. Thank you again. Does anyone have any further questions? Or thank you to the policy committee. That was a huge thing that I think when Mr. Need and I years ago talked about doing it, and it just was such a big project. So I appreciate you guys.
It's been a long
Well,
time coming.
It has been a long time.
And the advantage, the Miller-Johnson policy document is substantially reduced in size by eliminating a lot of the redundancies
Yeah.
that Mrs. McGinnis spoke about before, so.
Wonderful. All right, thank you. So those are our 7 board goals. I appreciate all of the work all of you have done on these. I feel like we've made pretty good progress on the vast majority of it, and I really appreciate it. Item 9 is the second opportunity for citizens to address the board. Citizens are welcome to address the board on any topic at this point on the agenda. Ms. Nag, can you go check the list again for me and see if anyone else has signed up? While the sign-up sheet is being retrieved, I would like to remind everyone that speakers will be limited to those who follow the correct procedure, so please fill out the sign-up sheet as directed. I would also like to remind everyone that speakers should direct their comments to me as the board president, and personal attacks will not be tolerated. I only have one speaker, and that is Mr. Dellinger. Welcome back, Mr. Dellinger.
Thank you.
Please state your name and address, and then I will start your 2-minute timer.
Jeff Dellinger, 7540 Perry Lake, Clarkson.
Thank you.
Good evening, President Crane. I stand before you as a concerned Clarkston taxpayer troubled by our superintendent's handling of the district's zero-tolerance policy on bullying. The policy exists to protect every child, yet under Sean Ryan, it has become a hollow promise despite the school board giving him the highest possible rating of effective. This school year, my first grade daughter reported a series of physical harms and intimidation in the classroom numbering 31 instances over 23 weeks. School staff documented the instances, but the superintendent, alongside Principal Nate Fuller, declined to pursue any disciplinary action. They labeled it as kids being kids, promising to monitor the classroom and to separate the kids. But this failure is not isolated to the classroom. Bullying happens in the lunchroom, the playground, gym class, and on the bus ride to and from school, all while the administration turns a blind eye to the evidence that they collect. By ignoring these facts, the superintendent has sent a dangerous message. Our children's safety is negotiable. Since the board adopted zero tolerance, you entrust him to enforce it impartially. Instead, he cherry-picked which incidents deserve follow-up and which can be quietly dismissed. The result? Victims left unprotected, bullies unaccountable, and parents are powerless. This is a district violation of board policy. Schools must be safe havens, and leadership must be unwavering in upholding the policy. Every student deserves to learn without fear. I respectfully but firmly ask this board to relieve the superintendent of his duties, to restore integrity to our zero tolerance stance on bullying, and to reaffirm that there can be no accountability without transparency. And with my last 10 seconds, thank you to Mrs. Love for those early remarks on the millage.
Thank you, Mr. Dellinger.
Thank you.
Item 10 is our information items. Our next Board of Education meeting will be Monday, February 23rd at 6 p.m. It is a workshop meeting where we will review our master plan review at Pine Knob Elementary. Item 11 is adjournment. May I have a motion, please?
I move to adjourn.
Support.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting is adjourned.